Coach start with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions. So just raise your hand and we'll get to you.
Well, it's good to be back in game week. I thought we had a productive bye week, and the team seems mentally, physically, emotionally refreshed. Obviously, we've reached the end of the regular season here with a 2-game push and a really important game at home against Kentucky, a team that's seemed to have found identity and is on a winning streak right now and playing really well. And it's a testament to Coach Stoops, who I think is just been a remarkable program builder in this league. You see his toughness in his team, his resilience in his team. Obviously, it's a testament to their players. They have good players who are playing well. The quarterback makes it go on offense. He's got some really talented people in the backfield with him and talented people on the perimeter. But you can see him stepping in and playing with some chemistry and connection with that offense defensively. You know, Brad White continues to do a great job in the coordinator role, and those guys have been really disruptive the last few weeks. So an awesome challenge here to finish our home season schedule, and excited for it, excited to be able to honor our senior players who put so much into this and invested so much in our program, and in a great way to try to close out again a home schedule this season where we haven't lost to this point. And you know, to celebrate that with our fans and with our team would be really meaningful. We got a big challenge, and we're gonna focus on the prep and make sure that we're showing up Saturday ready to play a tough physical game, because we know Kentucky will be ready for that as well.
Joey.
You mentioned the senior class. I guess could you just put into words how transformational they've been to this build?
It's hard to put it into words. I think most people, aren't able to make it through, especially some of these guys that have been here since 2021. I mean, it's been. These guys are visionaries. They're visionaries. They caught on to the vision before the world did. They held on to the vision when most let go, and they are now living the vision. It's a really special thing. You know, some of the guys joined us in 22, and those guys, rolled their sleeves up and went to work and stayed through a tough 23 season, and continued to again focus on the foundational work we needed to do to have a chance in this program. And then there are going to be guys that have come in the last 2 years, and I really can't imagine this program without those guys either. And so even though their time hasn't been as long, their impact has been just as deep. And what they've allowed us and helped us do in 24, where we had that postseason breakthrough, and now as we sit here with all our goals in front of us, it's really important that this team plays in a way that honors that group of guys. And that's not, this team doesn't need to result in a way that they need to play in a way that honors the toughness and the resilience, the grit, the attitude of our veteran players that have done something that most people wouldn't have said that we were capable of. So I got a ton of respect for them.
Brian.
What was the message to the team as you make this final push, these final 2 games here in the regular season?
Both are important, but only one is our focus. And there's really not a deviation in message for us. We understand today was 315 days together. Everything that we want postseason wise is out in front of us. We got to earn it. We earn it by winning 2 games, and to win 2 games, you can only win 1 this week. So we're going to focus on Kentucky, have a sense of urgency about our prep. I feel like, again, the last 2 times we've been out there, we've chased the speed and the tempo of the game a little bit. Just trying to find creative ways to message, trying to find creative ways to train, to get us off to a faster start. I think it's important. I have a trust in this team. These guys their heads are exactly where they need to be. This is, we put a lot into this, and you don't all of a sudden start looking up and paying attention to external noise or paying attention to what's down the road. This late in the season, they're going to be hyper focused on Kentucky, and that game requires our focus.
Graham, then Chris.
Yeah. Sorry. Coach, you mentioned Kentucky starting to find identity of late. Just what specifically, schematically, and then identity-wise have you seen that has allowed them to play much better of late?
Well, they're playing a game control style on offense that starts with what's been an effective running game. But both their running backs are super talented guys. So they very similar to how we have played. You know, they set themselves up with convertible third downs. They establish rhythm on first and second down. They put the quarterback in winning positions that way, and he has grown comfort. And again, when you talk about when he's throwing the ball to Kendrick Law, that's a really good player out there that takes the attention of all 11 guys. You know, when he's handing the ball off to either one of Dowdle or McGowan, I mean, those guys can hit the accelerator and split the defense. And beyond that, you know, their defense has generated possessions for the offense too. The turnovers they've created have made a difference also. So again, teams are hard to play against when they play interlock three phases, when their offense is meant to set up their defense, the defense is meant to set up their offense, special teams is a glue between. This is what this team has done. And we have to focus on, again, making good ball decisions, trying to take advantage of times where the ball's exposed on offense, trying to generate turnovers, getting off the field on third down, which means we need to win on first and second down. The run wall needs to be there for us on Saturday. And if we do those things, again, the game becomes about how we play and, the playing of Vanderbilt football. We're going to have a chance at the result we want. If we don't, we leave it to chance, and we know what that looks like. So that'll be the focus.
Chris.
Back to the senior moment. How many guys are going to be playing their last game? I looked at the roster. Do you know the number off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Okay. I saw 45 maybe on the roster. Does that sound right?
Yeah, there's a lot. Let me just, if that's an unscientific number, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And so some of those guys will have eligibility remaining, some of those guys won't. I think the reason there's not a defined number is I think there's still some work through who's going to be honored and who's not. But I mean, we have a ton of older players, all of them important. Some of them will return for another year. Some of them will play for the last time. All of them need to be honored in the way we play.
Well, okay. So then my question is, out of those guys, we know that Diego Paglia will be playing his last game at First Bank Stadium. I guess for everything that he's done, Joey talked about transformational class and stuff. What's the main thing that you want the Vanderbilt community to recognize about him in his final home game?
Well, I hope that we have the chance for one more. And I think there's still a possibility that we host a playoff game. But at the end of the day, we got to assume that, this is the final time he'll be in First Bank Stadium. And, I just would encourage the national community to show up and watch. This guy has laid it on the line for this program, this city for 2 years. And he'd be the first to tell you that the story of this program isn't about one person, but a group of people that have bound together to do something that no one thought was possible. And yet, he's the quarterback and he makes it go. And he's had some absolutely magical moments on that field, and will leave this program having forever changed it. So there's a celebration to be had in watching him compete for the final time at First Bank Stadium. And obviously I want the Vanderbilt community to show up in support of that, to recognize the fact that the feelings we have towards where this is really at its beginning and where it can go, that we need to honor this guy. We need to show up in support of him and make sure he feels that Vanderbilt community behind him. But beyond that, I hope the Nashville community shows up, because this is a guy that has been one of the most dynamic athletes in the city for the last 2 years. And he'll be someone who will be in conversations for the next 50 years here. So it's an opportunity to watch a guy that is a Heisman contender for a reason, that we believe is the best player in the country, that has earned the right to have people paying attention to him. He's the consummate team guy. He's a great connector in the locker room. He's humble in his process. and he means the world to me. And I hope that we can have a full stadium out there of people that are showing up to honor him, but also to watch.
Follow up?
Yeah, just one more follow-up if you don't mind. You're talking about how you hope it's not the last game. Speaking of the college football playoff, after this past weekend, there's been a ton of chatter about who's staying in and who didn't lose and whatever. Is there a fathomable part of your head where a 10-2 SEC team gets left out of a 12-team playoff?
There's not a fathomable part of my head right now, just because those are externals, and I asked the team not to focus on them, so I'm not going to focus on them. All I know is that we strengthen our position by winning. And so, do I think that we've earned the right? Yes. If we finish the right way, I think we've earned the right. Do I believe this conference is the best, college football conference in the world? Yes. But again, if I spent my time on scenarios, I wouldn't be a coach anymore. I'd have a different job. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to focus on winning, which means we need to focus on Kentucky. That's going to be the challenge this week, and I want to see our team play really well.
Aria?
After the Auburn game, were there any changes made to the defense during the bye week, and was there any consideration of you taking over the play calling again?
To the second part, no. Not that our defensive performance has been acceptable, but it's not the calls. We need to get organized. I think I've said this. I think I said it after the game. And we can do a lot in through the bye week and into this week of prep to get organized. So we focused on communication. We focused on tightening our process. You don't get reloads on Saturday, so I want to see less reloaded plays in practice. I want to see us get it right the first time. I think there's so much of defensive football that comes down to actually, are you in your structure? Are you executing your structure? Are you getting your technique past the opponent? And when you do that, you make plays really hard to run. And when you don't do that, you chase the ball down, and in this league, you pay the price, and that's what we've done. So I'm excited to see our defense through the week, and I'm excited to be out there with them on Saturday. Again, I have the back of every staff member and every player. That doesn't mean that we don't demand more and that we want higher level performance. I know that every single one of them wants that as well. They've been challenged, and now we go to work trying to find those areas to tighten and to improve so that we can get back to playing defense the way we played in the Missouri game. We're not too far removed from a game in which we were able to limit Missouri and create a turnover at the end to change the course of the game. That we're capable of that. We've deviated from that, and this is a great week for us to get back to it.
Henry, then Joey.
Yeah, just going more on that, what have you learned in this past bye week, and maybe what improvements have you seen on the offensive end as well?
Well, those guys have played pretty consistently. Obviously, what we came to in both the Texas and the Auburn game with the use of tempo and really kind of putting the game in Diego's hands was effective for us. I think you got to be careful. I love the fact that we can shift identity, and I love the fact that we can play the way we need to play on offense to keep the mission in reach, and that's winning. So, but I think we're most effective as a team when we play in a way that's complementary in the three phases. And so we don't want to deviate from who we are, what we do. We want to embrace the fact that we know when we need to, we can push the accelerator down, we can close gaps with the opponent if we need to. And what I'd love to see us do is, when the ball gets put down, we're ready for the speed of the game, we're ready for the energy of the game, and we use these weapons as a way to separate. I think that's Vanderbilt football at its highest level. And so we've learned a lot about the different ways we can operate on offense, and we can do that really effectively. I hope that we do that in a way that's complementary on Saturday that allows us to play our best football game of the season.
Joey?
A lot of your offseason messaging revolved around winning in November. Now that we're here, just how much has the team kind of taken on that identity of taking pride in winning in November, and you still feel like you're better equipped to do that this year than last year?
I do, yeah. I mean, we're better equipped because of the time and attention we've given to it. And, you know, just because you prepare for it doesn't mean that you're entitled to it. So, you know, winning in November is about having that level of focus and being willing to sacrifice here late in the season. We talked about that this morning. But everything we've done in terms of our systems and our process starting back in January was so that we could finish stronger than we finished a year ago. And you know, we're halfway through the November games, and every single one of them is going to present a challenge. But winning late in the season's hard. Winning late in the season in this conference is really hard, and so it's going to take a special effort, a special level of suffering and sacrifice, and again, a detailed performance to have a chance to do that.
Anything else for Coach? Oh, go ahead.
Trey Richardson said that he kind of exceeded his own expectations for the year. I think a lot of that was just because of making the transition from D2. Just what have you made of his year as a whole?
Well, I mean, I've been just so impressed with him. I think this is a guy that when I sat with him on his recruiting visit, I knew that he needed to grow. And I didn't know how fast that would happen. And I have been beyond impressed with his level of professionalism, how smart of a player he is. And obviously we all see his speed and playmaking ability. This is also a guy who is a father who has been, you know, working through all the complexities that come with being a father, and he does it so well. And there's a maturity to his presence in our building, a maturity to the way he plays that, you know, I'm really impressed by him. I'm not going to say he exceeded expectations just because, you know, anyone we recruit in this program, we believe that the highest level of performance is there. I just, he's settled into it with ease and very quickly, and he's navigated a lot of things around it personally that really impressed me. So I'm happy for him and grateful to have him with us.
Thanks. Oh, Paul, in the back.
What'd you have for dinner Monday?
We had steak and I don't know, you know, all the fixings, so it was good. Typically, Paul, you got the inside scoop this morning, so typically Monday's a fasting day for me, but when the chancellor calls, you don't say I don't eat, you just say where are we meeting and what time. So grateful for his partnership and friendship, and spent some time with us this morning as a team. And that's always meaningful. What a visionary, what a courageous leader, and a guy that's really setting the tone for this university on a national and really a international level, but also a hell of a football fan too, which I'll take that. So
Last
thank you guys.
question.
Oh,
Sorry,
It's okay.
just
no.
would you mind enlightening us on what the occasion was for that celebratory dinner?
I'm not going to tell you. And, you know, that's my prerogative. No, I mean, listen, he's taken an interest in our program that's really meaningful to me. We've worked really hard to get to a point here where we're proud of who we are, and I think he sees, he calls it radical collaboration, but there have been opportunities for me to, you know, get in front of the board and present. And I do that, you know, this was in the summertime, I do that in a way, it's the same way I interact with my team, you know, so that those people get to see me kind of in my element. He and I have had chances to spend time together, and I don't know how many football coaches have chancellors that sit in team meetings and come to practice and share messages with the team, but he has taken an interest in this, and I know he's got a deep belief in what we're doing, and so opportunities to share a meal is opportunities to share vision and to ensure alignment, and it was a lot of fun, man. That's a neat person and a neat moment to be able to partner with. So
Thanks, everybody.
thank you guys.